Hi, this is ronMctube playing the Hunter Classic on PC. Today we're doing a brand new hunting guide for Wild Boar for 2020. We're on Hirschfelden. The reason we've revisited this guide is because there's been a competition on called Double Bacon over the weekend where you had to get the largest feral hog and the largest wild boar. I've done the feral hog guide, I've updated that, so check that out, that was the last video. And for the second part of the competition, which is now ended today, you had to get the biggest wild boar. Now I've done this over the weekend and I didn't want to rush it out. I was trying to get it out for Sunday, but I didn't want to rush it out. I just wanted to get it right. So you start from that tent, you walk towards this feeder where my tree stand is. That distance from that feeder to my tent has got to be 400 meters. The tent can't be closer than that. You might ask, why isn't there a tent here, anywhere but there? The reason why I've got a tent here is it's the least intrusive way to the feeder, because all this area I am drawing has got wild boar all in this area, and they're often behind it, at the top, around it. So the least intrusive way of getting to the feeder, not spooking them, is from my tent and walking straight forward. Normally once you're in this tree stand, you won't need to spend more than 5 minutes at this location before all the pigs have come in from the surrounding areas to the feeder. Then what you're going to do is you're going to fast travel to this tent here, I'm just marking, and this is our second place. We're going to go to our next feeder. Now generally the top feeder is normally the better one, but we're going to walk straight forward to this feeder. The cords are down the bottom, and the reason we've got a feeder here is because all this yellow cornfield, as we're marking, is full of wild boar, pheasants, but mainly wild boar, and they're often around on this right area and round the back, sometimes near the river. And the least intrusive way again is where my tent is, walking straight forward. So it's quite simple to do. Just follow this guide and follow those cords. So we're going to do it. It's 11 AM in the morning. I've got my pig caller, so we've got everything we need. We've got our weapons, and we're just going to run forward and just follow like I'm doing in the video, and you will get decent wild boar. Sometimes you'll get calls straight away at starting on this tent. It's not uncommon at all. It might be a wild boar. You might also get pheasants or roe deer on the river right in front, or wild boar. So just keep a look out and just do like I'm doing as I'm running. So we've got a call straight away, and then it is a wild boar, and it is just over this river here. So when you get a call of an animal, just slow down a little bit. You don't want to spook it, especially with a feeder straight in front of us. We're just going to cross the river over here, but that is just in front of us somewhere, so hopefully we can see this wild boar. Let's have a look. Can we see it? Where is he? There he is. I think it's just a lone male. What's he like? Is it any good? We had quite a good feral hog in the last video. Like I say, check that out if you want to know about the feral hogs and how to get them. That is a monster. I'm quite surprised. That could be very big, up to 12-30, and it's a very heavy pig. Ideally, when you're after these wild boar, you want like a 200 kilo one. The heavy ones, if they've got the big tusks, they're going to be very big, and that could be a monster. Ideally, we're after 1,000 plus, and that could be really big. So I'm hoping I've hit him right there. We're using a 300, but to get that straight away is very, very lucky indeed, and that could be really big. Like I say, you want the pigs, ideally, if you're in a competition, pigs or wild boar, you want like 1,000 to 1,200, up to 1,300. If you get anything like 1,200 or above, it's like, you know what I mean, you might not get ever one that big again. They're that rare, even if you hunt them all the time. So that could be potentially a really big monster wild boar. We'll have to see in a minute. It's up to the hunting gods. But normally what I'll do is I'll run across this part here and look at the distance on my PDA. When it gets to about 200 meters, I will start to crouch walk. And you always know when following this guide is this tree here. I will start to crouch walk once I get to this tree. And the reason you do this is because when you look straight forward in a minute with the binoculars, you'll see my feeder. It's about 200 meters away, so it's 400 meters. We're about halfway there, and then we're going to crouch walk the rest. But we're going to look forward first just to see if there's any wild boar or other animals in this cornfield, because what happens is if you go galloping across there and there's animals already in this location, like we just seen with that pig, they often do run that way, and what will happen is they'll spook anything about, and then it's like a domino effect, and they'll run straight towards my feeder, and then any pigs, or well, wild boar I should say, that are there, or any other animals, they'll just spook them, and then everything will be gone before you even get to the feeder. So what you have to do is just have a look left and right before you go gallivanting across the cornfield, and just check. On this right side you've got to watch, there's a big raised part of the cornfield, and then there's like a dip, so sometimes you can't see the wild boar behind it. So just have a quick pan right to left, same left to right, and then when you know it's clear, start crouch walking across this cornfield. But what we're going to do is we're going to quickly just take a little break from the guide. I'm going to collect that pig and see what he scores. Just go and find his track. Like I say, he could be an absolute monster. My ideal, what I wanted to do in the guide was get one over 1,000 and then just show you the feeders in action. It's not about getting trophy wild boar in this video, it's more to show you how to get wild boar, because sometimes it's up to the hunting gods what you get. you could get like 20 wild boar at each feeder, and none of them could be high scoring ones. That's just the beauty of Classic, and why a lot of people just keep playing it. So here is our wild boar. I'm going to collect it. What is he going to score? He's going to score 1011. I can't believe that. That was literally like the bottom estimate of that, and it just goes to show you can never guarantee what you're going to get in Classic. That was up to 1200 as well, and I was like 1,000 near enough to 12, and we got like the very bottom, so you never know what the hunting gods are going to give you. But it is still quite a nice wild boar, but we got gypped a little bit on the scoring. Right, back to the guide. What I will say is, for those people that are new playing the Hunter Classic, if you do this and just have a few hunts, just keep doing it over and over, you will definitely probably get over 1,000 wild boar. 900s are pretty common at the feeders, and 1,000s, over a few hunts you will get 1,000 sooner or later doing it. 1100 to 1200s is just down to just putting the time in and a bit of luck sometimes. It's not uncommon. I've had 1200s on both of these feeders, won competitions there for the wild boar competitions, and like I say, so they are at these feeders. It's just a case of when you get one, but you have to put the time in. With Classic, you just never know. It could be like tomorrow, it could be in 10 years. That's just how the Classic is, and that's why a lot of people like it, because it is quite realistic, and you do have to put a bit of time in and effort. But that's often when you get the most rewards, when you put in a lot of effort. This is why Classics kept running for so long, because you just never know with Classic. Like I say, I've hunted all this weekend for this video, literally non-stop for like 3 days to put this video together. But if I jumped on Call of the Wild, probably in a few hours I could probably come up with some content or video in that short period of time. But in Classic, unless you get very lucky, you normally do have to put quite a lot of time and effort in, and I think that's sometimes why you don't see as much new content for Classic. It can be that a lot of people have covered most of the content anyway, like me. Like I said, I recorded literally everything, but the thing is also it's the time. I can spend a week on Classic sometimes and I might not even get a video out of it, but you won't know that. But I have probably put in a week sometimes, and some other people will do that as well. But in Call of the Wild, normally you can go in a few hours and just like you can come up with an idea or a theme to make a video. So that's a little insight into that as well. So what you normally do is you crouch walk across here, and when you get to this road, what you need to do is you need to go prone, because you're sort of in the sort of where you might spook animals, and also there's often wild boar in this tree line, because my tree stand is right in front and I want to get in it and just have a look over the feeder. But often you do get wild boar. We'll probably see this. We've got wild boar calling now. He's to my right. We'll probably see wild boar trotting through these trees. So you don't want to get attacked by them. I have been killed by them. I've got quite a few wild boar attacks and feral hog attacks in previous videos, and they are quite nasty sometimes. You can tell when they're going to do it, because they will look at you straight in the face and they do like a little shimmy, and then they're like a rocket, they go straight at you. We'll try and get that later on if we can in the video, if it happens. But what we're going to do is just keep proning and crawling. Army crawl up to this tree stand, One of the comments that did make me laugh, I read someone put, was about rocking horse shit of all things. He'd never heard it before, which kind of stunned me. It's an old saying. When something's rare, you say it's rare as rocking horse shit, and it did make me laugh actually when someone replied about it. I said it in a recent video, and I didn't realise I'd said it, but it did make me laugh. So whoever said that, you did make me chuckle. Right, here is my tree stand. If you want to see me do any hunting guides for the Hunter Classic as well, or Call of Wild, drop it in the comments. I'll try and make it happen. I did see someone mention about Sitka deer the other day as well, so I did acknowledge that one. I do read the comments and see what you want to see. But here we go, loads of wild boar at this feeder, and I do like this feeder. It is my favourite one out of the two, and it does seem to provide more wild boar of the two of them, more consistent. It's quite a lot here, probably 15, 16, and there's more coming in. What's that one? It's not about getting a monster one in this. Like I was saying earlier, it's more about showing the feeders working. And you can imagine if there's 15 to 20 wild boar here, 10 at the other one, sooner or later you're going to get a really big wild boar at one of the two. And if you've got both running at the same time, it ups your odds. And it also shows that it's definitely worth having feeders when you're wild boar hunting. So all we've done is we've walked straight forward to this feeder, and we're already straight in the action. Only a few minutes in, and we've got potentially 15 to 20 wild boar in front of us. Without the feeders, we might have seen 3 or 4 maybe. So it definitely does work, and it's worth having the feeders, especially if you're wild boar hunting. It's always good to check. Like I say, I've had this feeder in this location for quite a few years, but you never know if something changes by design or by bug. So it's nice to see this feeder is working really well. I don't know about the other one yet, but what we're doing is we're scanning the background. Always have a look 360 when you're at these feeders, because sometimes it depends on how quick you went straight into the feeders. Because obviously if you start the game and go straight here, and then versus maybe an hour in game and then coming here, it might be different results, because all the wild boar might be here by the time you get here, or some might be just coming in. Ideally you want weight of wild boar. The big ones will be about 200 kilo, the real big ones, and they'll have like V-shaped tusks, long pointed ones. You'll know straight away when you see them. Also by appearance they'll have big haunched backs, like that one near the feeder, big fat and a big haunch back, and normally they're the biggest ones. You can tell when you see the mottled grey wild boar, they're normally females. As you can see, the different colouring. Let me know how you did in the double bacon comp. Did you do any good? Did you place anywhere? The pigs have all ran off the wild boar, but I don't mind, because we weren't going to shoot any of them. I just wanted to show you that it was a good location for wild boar. So what we're going to do now is, we know that works, we're going to fast travel to this location. So here we are, right, on to our next feeder. So when you get to this location, immediately when you start moving, look to the right, because often there's wild boar in this right corner. Sometimes there'll be geese in this field. I've got a goose set up, but there's often geese sitting here. But down on this right there's often wild boar. We're just looking around now. There is also pheasants. I've had a lot of big pheasants. This is a brilliant pheasant field if you're after them. I'm just going to look to the left. You often get wild boar there, and we have got a wild boar over that side. So what you generally do is you just go straight forward again. You can actually run about half of this field without spooking the feeder in the opposite field. Generally I wouldn't run within like 200 metres of it, but see the ridge in front of me with the trees? We don't want to run too close to that, because often there will be a wild boar just on the other side of it, or other animals like roe deer sometimes, and if you spook them, like I said before, it's like a domino effect. They'll run straight towards your feeder. If there's any wild boar there, they'll all be gone. So we've got one here in the middle of the field. It's only a small one, but you know what? He's in our way, and we need to go that way anyway, so I'm going to call him in, try and take him out with a boat. Some others, they're not very big, only small ones and females. Often you will see groupings in this field of like 3 females and 2 males, and they'll often be small. when they're in that grouping. So we've got a snake bite bow, and this is one of the reasons why I always carry a bow, and it's a good reason to carry a bow, is because sometimes you can take out an animal you don't really want to take out, but it's in your way of where you want to go, and you don't want to make a gunshot sound to scare everything else. Like if I shoot now, it might scare animals on the other side of the ridge, which, like we said before, might domino, run towards my feeder, scare them all. So what we're going to do is try and take this out with a bow silently, and then hopefully nothing runs and spooks where we're going. It might not work like that, but it's in our way anyway, so we've got to try and take him out. We're looking at him right in the eyes. Now we might actually get a charge here. Normally when they get within about 20 meters, they're either going to charge you or they're going to run off. And I'm hoping he's going to charge. Normally you just stay in front of them, and they can be quite aggressive. Can we get a charge out of him? If he charges, I'm going to try and shoot him right in the head, as close as possible, and hopefully we don't die. He's thinking about it, look. Just watch the animations if he charges, because they do like a little shuffle. It always makes me laugh when they do it. Yeah, the others have gone. He's definitely locked in. Look, there we go. That's when you know they're going to charge. Now I've got to do this quick and time it right. Here he goes. Yeah, we got him. Right, that's him dead, I think. Hello. Is he alive or what? The others have ran that way, but it might be good because they've run slightly left, not towards my feeder, so I'm hoping they haven't spooked everything. Let's collect him. He's still alive. Look, he's following me. His head's turning. What the hell is going on? He's following my every move. I've got a shot. Did I shoot him straight between the eyes? I think so. He should be dead. Come with me, run. It's an evil pig. Look. Die already. Yeah, look, he's just breathing. But he should be dead. Have I paralysed him or something? I don't know what's going on here. Should be dead. Is he dead? He looks like he's still breathing. I'll go closer. Hopefully he can't attack me. I don't know what's going on here. I'm evil pig. Die already. Is he dead? It's like the Exorcist pig. Die. Right, we're going to have to put another arrow in it, because this is like a supernatural one, I think. We might have paralysed it, so I don't know. It just won't die. Die already. Oh, there we go. It was a tough one, I'll give him that. Look. So we got an attack and a weird thing, I don't know. Ah, look, we hit the spine. We must have paralysed him. So there you go, you can paralyse Wild Boar. It's a bit creepy though when his head was snapping round. Looked like the Exorcist. Alright, so we'll collect him and we'll carry on to our feeder. You just never know in Classic what's going to happen next. Right, on to our second and last feeder. And we've got quite a few wild boar here. It's probably 9 or 10 at this feeder. But from what I found over the weekend of hunting and checking these feeders out, and I've done quite a lot of short hunts just to try them out and try and get an average of both feeders. And I must say, this second feeder hasn't performed that great, to be honest. I've been hunting like since Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and it's now Monday I'm doing this video. And like I say, this second one's not been very good on averages. Normally you'll get about 4 to 8 on a feeder, and sometimes I've been coming here and I've not been getting many at all. Sunday, for some reason, I don't know what it is with the Hunter Classic, right? Sunday is never really good for certain animals. It's weird, I don't know why that is. I've hunted for all the years, but it never seems to be good. But yeah, the average is definitely better on the top feeder, so I would definitely use this feeder. If you've only got one, I'd use this location over this second one. But we've got about 10 here at the minute. There's my cords for my tent. There's the cords for the feeder, the best one. Definitely use that one if you're only using one. Here's the tent for this location, the cords, look at the bottom. And here's this feeder location. So you've got the cords for the tents and the feeders, but this one, like I say, I have won comps off this feeder, but it just doesn't do the same amount of pigs on an average than the top one. And that is the reason why you have to put this time in when you're trying to do these guides. And a lot of these people who do the guides regular, they do put a lot of amount of effort in and time to try and get this data, to try and work out what works and what doesn't. Right, we're going to take one of these wild boar. Don't know which one it is. There's no big ones here, they're all smallish ones, but it's just to end the video on. I've really enjoyed hunting the wild boar over the weekend. They are one of my favourite species, the pig species, and that unlucky customer is going to be the ending scene for this video. So I hope you enjoyed this wild boar guide for 2020 for the Hunter Classic. I've enjoyed making it. If you want to see any other guides or any other footage content, drop that in the comments. I'm ronMctube. Please subscribe to my YouTube channels, and thanks for watching. Bye bye.